Welcome back. Another edition of Dealing with the Devils on Talking Ball. And we're doing the Indiana State, the Sycamores. You know a little bit about them, JD.
I sure do, Larry Bird.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
the Sycamores. It's Indiana. It's Indiana basketball. It's Indiana State versus Michigan State with Magic Johnson. That's the last time I probably spoke about Indiana State. But
I remember them from a couple years ago. They had Robbie Avila, and they actually made it inside the top 25 on the AP poll at one point during the season, which is pretty impressive for the Sycamores. And then unfortunately, there was a lot of bid stealers. They didn't end up making the big dance. They didn't win their conference tournament.
really,
Yeah. So since then, their coach, the coach of that team, moved on. He's the coach of St. Louis. They have a new coach, Matthew Graves. This is his second season at
a
the helm.
Butler alum,
Butler alum. Nice.
Indiana.
They are 2-1 this year.
A two-game winning streak, not just
right.
2-1.
I was good at say it, but you're jumping. It's just fine. Now they are around 200th in offense and defensive rating. I do think this is a step up over the Army team, which is good heading into the Kansas game.
200 still won't get you into the big dance.
It is a fair point. It's going to be a tough climb to get into the big dance when you're ranked 200th.
And if you're going to go to the Army game, Duke traveled to West Point. The Sycamores are going to Cameron.
That is true. That is true. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about the Sycamores before we turn our attention to the Blue Devils, what we want to see from the squad Friday night. We'll be live post-game as always. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Drop your comments, your score predictions below. So the Sycamores, one thing I want to note right off the bat. Now it's very early. We're 3 games in. They are 46th in tempo. Duke is 213th. For those of you who may not know, tempo is just the amount of possessions that you get during, the course of a game. So they play at a higher pace than Duke has. I'm curious if that will I'm curious which side will win out. Will Duke be able to keep it more at their not slow tempo, but manageable one, or will the Sycamores force this game into a higher possession affair, which I don't know if that's really what they want to do here.
If you're explaining tempo, then help me out a bit. There may be some other people like myself that go, how could we be at a slower tempo and score 114 points against Army?
Well, I don't know what the tempo of that game was particularly, but I know, we were very efficient in that game, and that has a lot to do with it. Like the team, it's your possessions per 40 minutes, right? So in that game, I don't know exactly what the number was for Duke. I don't remember, but I know we were really efficient. We shot a lot of threes. We were pretty efficient from 2-point range, got to the free throw line, etc. To no surprise to anybody, Alabama is number 2 in tempo. They just go up and down, and they play so fast, they've made St. John's be a top 15 team, and that's not exactly where St. John's wants to be. But back to the Sycamores. Their first 6 games, they've played 11 guys in all, not 6 games. First 3 games, they've played 11 guys in all 3 games. Did I say that right? I think I got there.
Yeah.
I messed up. The reason I had a little bit of a slip there is because I wanted to highlight their top 6 players because they have a clear delineation of their 11th. There's 6 guys who play more, produce more on the Sycamores. So they have 4 guys who started all 3 games, and those are their 2 guards, Xavier Hall and Sterling Young. Hall is their assist guy. 7 assists per game in the 3. Pretty
It's
good.
nice.
That's a really good number in college basketball. He's 6 foot. Young is more of a scorer, 40% from three, 5 attempts a game. And he's averaging 13 points, so pretty good. And he's also at 1.7 steal, so a guy who can, get a steal, lead to an easy bucket for Indiana State.
And I like that Sterling Young is a Queens boy.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you
I
do.
do. I do.
Right from your neck of the well, not the woods, but the concrete jungle. All
It's
right,
where I grew up. The
all right.
playgrounds of Queens.
Now the next two guys I think are their two best players. And one guy, if you just look at his stats for this year, you wouldn't think so. But when you look back, this could be, especially in Cameron, we've seen guys go for big nights that, may not have been due for them. But Camp Wagner is their small forward. He's 6'6". He's averaging 9 points, 3 rebounds, a couple assists, just under 2 steals. This year, he's shooting like 22% from three. Not good, but
Oh.
that's on 8.7 attempts. So he's a shooter. And the reason why I brought that up is last year he shot 38% on 7 attempts a game. So I think he's just got off to a cold start.
Mhm.
And eventually he's going to hit shots. Will it be against Duke? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. And their leading scorer, Ian Scott, does a little bit of everything, but he's also their leading rebounder. 14 points, 10 rebounds, a couple assists, steal, a block. He's only 6'7". I expect him to have the Cameron Boozer matchup. But he is quick, and he can, he does a good job of slipping to the rim, getting buckets around the basket. So he is a guy definitely to pay attention to on the Sycamores here. And then lastly, of the six I want to highlight, it's their center duo. They're like Duke, they have two guys who share their minutes at the center spot. And they've had their last game, Harding started, but the first two games, Vorst started. So Harding's at 9 points, 2 rebounds, and a block. Vorst is 10 points, 5 rebounds, and they're both listed around 6'10", 250, 260. So Gangba's going to actually have a real big guy to go up against, and I think that'll be good for him heading into the Kansas game.
I'm the thing that stood out to me the most, since I knew you would hit the hard stats of each player, is the international flavor of this team. The roster includes one player from Belgium, one from Spain, two from Canada, one from Norway, and Grenada or Granada, patata, So 6 of their players are international.
Yeah, that's a good one. It made me think of this year's Duke team, and it's not as obviously Dame Sar, but outside of that, off the top of my head, the Boozers are American. Foster's American. Gangba, I believe, is Darren Harris. Hamenia, I know Hamenia's parents were, I forgot which country, but I think he was born in the United States. Who else? Malik Brown, I know he's from Virginia. I remember driving by the town that he was from in Virginia at one point. I think it was Culpeper. Who am I missing?
And when you drove through, did someone try to deflect your car?
No. When I drove through, I was like, man, there's really not much here. It reminds me of where we're from, But there were those big signs with arms waving around. Reminds me of like the Emile Jefferson. They're kind of similar in that aspect, just long armed 6'9" big men. So on the Duke side of things, I think we're 3 games in, so still very small sample size, but there are some interesting notes I've noted looking at the lineup data for the Blue Devils. First, We talked about last time that starting five, the offensive rating did improve after that torrid start to start the Army game. Defensive rating went down slightly, but they're in a great spot. I think the funniest thing, though, that I noticed from the lineup data is the lineup with the third most minutes for the Blue Devils this season: Caden Boozer, Darren Harris, Iffy, Cam Sheffield, Jack Scott. Third most minutes for Duke this season at five. I just thought said a lot about where these early season games have been. But that's going to change as time goes on.
Boy, if he is part of that, then I don't know if that's representative of anything just yet.
No, it's not. It was just funny. It was a funny
It is
anecdote.
fun.
But what is somewhat notable is the guys with the best net ratings. So your offense and your defensive rating, your net rating is your how well you do when you're on the court, how well the team does while you're on the court. So the best net rating for Duke, Caleb Foster. The second best, Dame Sar. The third best, Patrick Gangba. Fourth, Caden Boozer. And fifth, Cam Boozer. So I wonder if we'll start to see a little bit more of the 2 point guard lineup with Sar and then the bigs out there. But I thought that was a really positive sign for Foster in particular, leading us in net rating. Where we were at the start of the season, he's been playing really well, and the numbers reflect that too. So I think there's nothing to say. Just keep doing what he's doing. He's doing just fine. He's doing just fine.
Look, the three things that I'm looking for, my three, I'm not going to call them keys to the game because I have a feeling about how this game will turn out. But the three things that I'm looking for is for Dame Star to have his star continue to rise. That as he sheds his, as Coach Shire said, he's hardened himself. He looked really good at Army. As he continues to grow in comfort, I think he emerges as a star at Duke. The second thing is, can it be a third game in a row where the combination of Caleb Foster and Boozer, the smaller Boozer, the guard Boozer, Caden Boozer, whether the two of them can play well and be connected? You're suggesting a potential lineup that has them both on the court at the same time with Star and Gangba and Boozer, the big Bruiser. And I'd love to see the two of them again combine for 20 points.
Whoa.
10 assists.
Wow.
Less than 5 turnovers. And rebounds getting close to, a double. In other words, if they can contribute a double-double between them, or triple-double.
Yeah, you're going triple-double.
Triple-double. 10 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Then our guard play is really good. And especially if Darren Harris goes on his Isaiah Evans lookalike, where he goes 5 for 7 from 3, then our guard play is really good. So, and third thing is, I know I just have this thing about Duke teams should shoot more than 80% from the free throw line. And we fell just below it in the Army game. Even though we, scored 1 by 50, free throws win games down the stretch in tight games. You want confidence that whoever is fouled, they're going there and they're going to score. Remember, Jack, I used to always say that I wish I had the statistic for what does each player shoot from the free throw line in the final 2 minutes of a close game. You learn what they're made of, in terms of their stability on the court. So overall, I don't think we're going to have a close game here. So we're not going to have that pressure, but I want the team as a whole to shoot over 80% from the free throw line. And then, of course, Iffy needs to get some minutes. Jack Scott, Sebastian Wilkins, the three guys that come in at the 4 minute.
Cameron Sheffield. Wilkins is red.
What? That's right. The three guys that come in the final 4 minutes, and I don't see that pattern changing in this game at all. We looked at the Army game at the 7-minute mark, and we both commented, what do they do? Why is Coach Shire leaving them in? This is an injury. This is something that happens. The score, why? And all I can think of is that he is getting them used to playing with each other. And then sure enough, at the 4-minute mark, he's subbed in Iffy, Jack Scott, and Sheffield.
Yeah. There you go. How about that?
Sometimes it takes
we'll
five.
put we'll put $1, in your jar.
All right. So that's what I'm looking for the game. And then, if you want, I'll go first on my score prediction.
Well, I got a couple of things. So
I would assume you do.
Yeah. Before we get to score predictions, number one, so a couple of stats based off of things you had mentioned. As a team, Duke has a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, which is pretty good as a team, I would say. Slightly above. They shoot so far through 3 games 77% from the free throw line, which is just slightly below your goal of 80%. And there are 3 players who are below it, I should say, of the 9. Who do you think they are?
Dame.
Yes, he is the worst defender as of right now.
Yep. He misses the front end often. Caleb?
Caleb has not attempted a free throw.
At all. That's why normally he is someone I worry about at the free throw line, and usually misses, like if he's got 2 shots, will often miss the first. That's why I assume. So he deserves to be there, but he's not there because he hasn't attempted any.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
All right, 2 more guys. Caden Boozer.
You haven't gotten any wrong until now. Caden Boozer is at 87%.
Cameron Boozer.
You're 87% as well. They're twins. Come on.
All right, who are the other 2 guys?
Hamenya and Brown. I think, though, Gangba at 80% for a center is damn impressive. And Hamenya, I expect his number to tick up. He's at 57%. He's a good shooter. I just think it's early in the season. He's a freshman. I expect that to improve. And Sarr, like you said, he tends to miss 1 of 2. He's at 53%. He's taking 5 attempts a game. So him improving there, he would average a point.
Get me over right. Should get me over the 80% mark alone.
Yeah, him alone, and I think he'll get better there. He's got nice touch on his corner threes. One other stat: the defense has been really good to start the season. I mean, that's not fair. The defense has been great. That's a better adjective to use. Really good's kind of lame. They've been great. They've allowed the 6th lowest field goal percentage against out of I don't know, 360 something teams. Now, there are two games in there that you probably should allow a low field goal percentage, but that does also include the Texas game. So I think it's a really good start on the defensive end of the court to this season. And lastly, there's been a lot of talk about Cam Boozer. He's some people have, not us to be very clear, but some other people have been saying he's been a little bit underwhelming, etc. He is averaging, and to be fair, the our first half of the Army game, the first half of the Texas game, certainly not his best performances. He's averaging 18 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal and a block per game.
And this is the bad version of Bruiser.
Yeah. The one thing you could poke a hole at with his line, he's at 29% from three on about 5.7 attempts. He's actually our second highest 3-point attempt player on the team behind Isaiah Evans, of course. Which I think, I don't know if he needs to shoot quite that many, but I don't think is the worst thing, because I remember we had talked about the 3-point shooting of this team, and I was saying behind Evans, like, who's going to be a volume shooter? Mm-hmm. If he shoots I think he will. Like, his form is good. If he shoots a better percentage, I think it's going to help Duke and give Gangba more space to operate inside, and it's going to allow, like, Sar more cutting angles to the rim. So I think it's a positive for the team, especially I believe he will shoot better. So you were ready a couple of minutes ago. I'm ready now. What's your score prediction?
So we're at home, and I initially put down 110-60. And then I listened to your description of the Sycamore players. So I'm going to come down on the total points to 95, 15 points less, just because I think there'll be more possessions by the Sycamores. I think there'll be, I don't know. But 95, I'm not going to complain. And then being at home, I believe the defense is going to continue to be stifling, and I have it at 55, down from 60. So I have it as a 95-55 game. Duke wins by 40.
Okay. Fairly strange, because I had it as 95-57.
Oh, come on.
Part of it is I think that guy Camp Wagner has not hit many threes to start the season. He's a great shooter. And how many times have we seen opposing players come into Cameron and hit a bunch of threes? That is the one
So because
thing.
of that, that's how you're going to come in and give them 2 more points than I did.
That's right.
Okay.
I think he's going to hit some threes. I'm at a 38
I think it should
point
be
win.
maybe a 3-point difference then. One of us should go to either 54 or you should go to 58, since it's going to be a 3-pointer.
I'm not moving. I'm staying put right here. So I think it should be a better test for the Blue Devils, but man, if they start the way they did in the Army game offensively, I think, as to your point, I think the defense will be better. The way Army started in that game, they were lights out, and I just think Duke's gonna win this one pretty comfortably, and we're gonna be rolling into the Kansas game feeling really good about this Duke team, 4-0 with some really big wins in the last 3.
Completely agree. Looking forward to it. What time's the game?
7 o'clock tomorrow night, ACC Network, I think we actually get it. So I think we should be all right. We don't have to get the sling pass. So YouTube
And
TV,
and
ESPN,
Jack,
get it together. Yeah,
what did we forget?
nothing.
How are we supposed to start our show?
Where do
If
where,
you like
I did
us,
that. You weren't paying attention. I did that a couple minutes in. I had a nice segue. I asked people to subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop their score predictions in the comments. When at some point when I
I
post it,
I I
you
don't know.
gotta watch the
I
video.
It's been 30 minutes. I've been listening for it, and I'm coming in at the end saying, if you like this show, it helps us to grow. Please subscribe. We need 6 more to hit the promised land of 2,000. So, all of our subscribers, find one friend. Remember, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. And we look forward to seeing you after the game tomorrow night.
Until then, guys, peace.